According to Dr. Ishwar B. Basavaradi, yoga was originated thousands of years ago, long before the first religion or belief system was born. Yoga is defined as a spiritual discipline based on an extremely subtle science which focuses on bringing harmony between mind and body. Yoga instructor Lauren Evron has been practicing and teaching yoga for years now. She will unravel her journey on yoga and how she began.
The root word or the real definition of yoga is to yoke, which is another way to say unite. So what it is uniting is the mind and body together, and it does this through the breath. So the denotative definition of the word would be to yoke, but personally what it means to me is to find a state of relaxation, whether that is the mind, the body, to be able to just be in my own space, meditating, breathing, and staying in the present moment. That's how I would define yoga. I danced my whole life prior to coming to college, and when I graduated high school, I had to leave my dance studio that I was at for 15 years. So I decided to try something new, and I got into yoga and I started taking classes my freshman year of college, and then eventually a few months in, I decided that this is something that I could see myself teaching and doing. So I obtained my first certification in February of my freshman year. That was 2014, and I've been teaching ever since then. This past June, I actually just finished my 200-hour teacher training, which is more of an accomplishment than my first one because it was 200 hours, and now I am seen as a certified yoga instructor through Yoga Alliance. Everyone has different types of bodies and different things that go into it. You can study this by studying Ayurvedic science or Ayurvedic yoga, which is the sister science to yoga practice. And it explains that there are 3 types of doshas, and we're all made up of the 3, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And between those 3 types of people, there are different types of food that goes along. For example, some bodies might not be able to digest dairy well, carbohydrates well, while others need that because they burn off calories much more fast than other bodies do. So if you're interested in finding the perfect yogic diet, definitely studying Ayurvedic science would give you a good look into the things you should be eating and what will help be metabolized in your own body. So when I did my training, I definitely drank a lot of tea. I didn't really drink coffee, even though I do a light coffee for sure. And I'm a Vata, so I'm someone that doesn't need to eat as much because I have a smaller stomach, but I do need warm foods because I'm someone who's always cold. So for me, my diet should be warm summer squash, things that come from the ground but that are more warming rather than cold vegetables. I should have warm vegetables because I'm someone who's cold, so instead of making my body more cold, I need to warm it up, having soups. So it's interesting learning that science. The first time I was certified was in 2014, and that was through Yoga Fit, which is a company that certifies you and lets you teach at any gym that you'd like. So it doesn't matter what type of gym, but any gym that offers yoga classes, then I could teach there. So I started at the University of Rhode Island gym, and now presently, 2017, this past June, I was certified through the 200-hour teacher training, so now I can teach at any yoga studio that I'd like, not just necessarily a gym. And it goes into a lot more detail about mindfulness. Again, we talked about Ayurvedic science, we talked about anatomy, the safety of poses. So throughout my 200-hour training, I am now a complete certified yoga instructor. So both of my certifications were very different. The Yoga Fit one was only 20 hours and it happened over the course of 2 days. So that was very brief and fast. And it was mostly just understanding how people at a gym like to work out and how you can incorporate yoga. But my 200-hour training was a lot. It was actually 9 separate weekends throughout February to June, and it would be all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you get to meet a whole new group of yogis, like-minded people that are trying to better themselves, that are trying to find this relaxing state, the uniting of their mind and their body together. So I got to meet 26 other woman and one man actually in my yoga training, and we got together. We spent 200 hours together, and it was an amazing experience, not only for me but because I got to meet all of these wonderful people. So it was definitely a great experience. It actually came with a lot of work. I had to take a very long exam. I think I wrote like almost 20 pages front and back for all the questions, everything that I knew, and as well as taking before and after pictures in each of our poses to show how we've increased the written exam. And then we also had about 14 different write-ups. We had to do certain teacher observations. We had to read about 3 or 4 books and do teaching observations on that. If you're ever interested in yoga books, there are a bunch of good ones that you could be reading, like the Bhagavad Gita, which is really good, the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, chakra readings, which are really awesome to learn about. So definitely you can get involved without taking the training by just reading the books. So I started in 2014, so this is about my 4th year. I've taught at the University of Rhode Island, and I've also taught at Ocean State Health and Fitness in their fitness center, and I teach down at Mackle at URI and also at Fascitelli. They have 2 separate gyms. I practice yoga by myself in my room. I teach yoga to the students and faculty. Then I also take my own classes, because for me yoga is a never-ending practice. There's no way there's everything to know about yoga. It's a constant journey of learning, traveling, taking classes with different teachers. So I always plan on being a student in that realm and keep traveling and learning as much as I can. I understand what it's like to be in times of stress, so we compare that to being on the yoga mat when you're in a pose that's either stressful or you feel really tight in it, you can't move, you feel like you have a lack of breath because you're twisting and can't get those deep breaths. All of those movements actually correlate to being off the mat, where you feel tight or you feel like you can't breathe or you're in a stressful situation. And taking yoga on the mat teaches us that we can breathe through anything that comes to us. We can breathe through our poses, so then when we're out in the world and something happens to us that we're not expecting, or we get that tight feeling, we're able to better handle the situation because we've taught ourselves over and over again to breathe through it and get through those difficulties. So for sure it has impacted my life immensely.